NOWEIGH. I thought my fellow was going to propose, but he told me I was too fat instead. It was me who had the last laugh. Lonoishi and Nikita Fowler's partner Tom told her he wanted to have a serious talk. Her heart began to flutter. With their relationship going from strength to strength, the 31-year-old was sure that her flame was about to pop the question. However, it seems he had a rather more indecent proposal. Speaking in this exclusive interview, Nikita, from Bournemouth, says, "We had been together for a couple of months, and I could feel myself falling hard for Tom. One night at the pub, he told me he wanted to talk to me about something important. He was fidgety and looked uncomfortable, and I wondered whether he might be about to propose, but nothing could have prepared me for what came next. He told me he thought I was wonderful, and that he would love to put a ring on my finger as he loved who I was on the inside. So far, so good. Then came the but. He told me that I was too big, and if I promised to lose weight, he would promise to propose. It was so cruel." Nikita says that she began to struggle with her weight after a harrowing incident when she was 17. "In the end, I was forced to shave my entire head, and after that night, I lost all my confidence. I became terrified to leave the house, and I suffered with night terrors." Nikita says she fell into unhealthy habits as a way of coping with the trauma and saw her weight spiral out of control. 3 takeaways a day. "I'd been a healthy, happy teenager, but now I locked myself inside, depressed and scared," she says. "I rarely got any fresh air and never exercised. The only thing that brought me any kind of comfort was food. At one point, as I was getting through 3 Indian takeaways a day, ordering them behind my mom's back. My favorite dishes would give me plenty of comfort while I was eating them, but once I'd finished, I'd look at the empty cartons and feel guilty. No amount of food could fill what felt like a gaping hole inside me." Within 3 years, Nikita's weight had shot up to 26 stone. "I hated my body, but I didn't know how to fix it," she says. "Instead, I stayed at home, longing to be like the other girls my age, going out shopping, partying, and on dates with boys." When Nikita reached 24, her dreams of meeting a boy came true when she connected with Tom over Facebook. "I'd noticed he'd been commenting on some of my posts, and when we got chatting, I found he was kind and friendly," she says. "Tom had seen my pictures. He knew I was a big girl, but that didn't stop me feeling nervous when we met for the first time. But I needn't have been nervous. Tom kissed me on the cheek and told me I was lovely, and as we chatted, I felt like I had known him forever." After 6 or so dates, Nikita admits she was smitten, but it was then that Tom made his indecent proposal. "I was so gobsmacked by his announcement that I actually laughed," Nikita recalls. Tom was babbling about a conversation he'd had with his mom and how she'd taught him never to settle and only to marry the best. Nikita didn't stick around to hear the rest. "I told him that if he didn't want me at my worst, he didn't deserve me at my best," she says. "I left the pub and never looked back. Tom tried calling me to beg for forgiveness, but I blocked his number. I hated him for what he said. But that night, as I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, I had to accept that the truth was he'd hit a nerve. Tom wasn't good enough for me, but deep down I knew what he was right. I was too big. At 26 stone, I was hugely unhealthy, but for the first time in a long time, instead of hiding myself away in shame and burying my head in the sand, I decided to act." Spurred on by Tom's words, Nikita began researching gastric surgery in a bid to find a way to shift her 26 bulk. "I knew that I needed to be in the right place mentally for such a life-changing operation, and for a whole year, I endlessly researched all the options," she says. By September 2017, with the help of her family and a loan, Nikita had saved the £10,000 she needed for the surgery at Aspire Hospital in Southampton. She was told her stomach would shrink by 28%, be removed during the surgery, and her appetite would plummet dramatically. For the first 4 weeks after the operation, Nikita didn't lose much weight as her body adjusted, but soon after she began to shed the weight rapidly. She says, "I took up boxing, and sometimes I'd drop as much as a stone in 1 week. The weight was falling away so quickly, I didn't believe the numbers on the scale. It was incredible, and just 18 months later, I'd shrunk from 26 stone to my goal weight of 15 stone. I was happy with what I'd achieved, but my weight loss continued until by 2020, I'd hit a slinky 10 stone. Feeling happier and healthier, Nikita was able to find love again. I felt like a whole new woman, inside and out. And the best thing was, I was supported by my new partner, Dan," she says. "I'd begun a relationship with him 7 months after my surgery. We'd been friends for 13 years before our friendship blossomed into romance. And he'd known and loved me before I lost the weight. He'd been by my side throughout my weight loss journey and proved he loved me through thick and thin. When Nikita bumped into Tom at the pub, she couldn't help but feel smug. His face was a picture as it slowly dawned on him who I was, she says. He offered to buy me a drink, and I couldn't help but chuckle as I turned him down. I thanked him for his kind advice and left him alone. I smiled all the way home. Most women expect a marriage proposal to change their lives, but not quite like this.